Good morning. My name is Steve Lorberbaum. I'm the owner of Assisting Hands Home Care, and welcome to What's Your Plan? Today, we are incredibly fortunate to have Odile Brunetto, who's the Chief of the Aging and Disability Services, to talk to us today about the hot topics that are going on in Montgomery County that impact seniors. Assisting Hands Home Care, we take care of people in their homes. We provide aids to help with social isolation and help folks who need a little extra help with activities of daily living and companionship. But that's a very small piece. Odile's got all the rest of it, and it is ginormous. So Odile, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today.
You are so welcome, Steve. Good morning, everyone on the line. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes, Odile, just briefly, I saw earlier the list of things that your department is responsible for, and it is staggering in its breadth and scope. So just if you could give us a 2-minute rundown on what Aging and Disability Services covers and sort of the highlights.
Sure, we'll be delighted to do so. Thank you so much. So Aging and Disability Services belongs to the greater Department of Health and Human Services, and we work on a daily basis with our colleagues across the entire department. But obviously, in Aging and Disability Services, we focus on persons with disabilities of all ages, and of course, older adults and their family members. And so we are organized, if you wish, in 3 major groups. We have one group that focuses on the needs of persons with developmental disabilities and their family members. We have one group that focuses on more traditional social services for persons with disabilities and older adults. And then we have another group that's called the Area Agency on Aging, that is a part of the national network focusing on the needs of older adults over the age of 60 and their caregivers. And so across our programs, we aim to assist persons with disabilities, older adults, their caregivers, in staying at home, engaging in the community, being as safe as possible for as long as possible, and providing an array of services that eligible persons can select in order to enrich their lives, and again, focusing on safety and health.
Gotcha, and I will put in a plug for Aging and Disability Services, because that is a one-stop shop phone number. If there's virtually any question that someone has related to aging and resources available in the county, that's the number. I use it all the time, and I refer it out to clients and their families, because really they seem to know it all, which is fabulous.
They do, Steve, and thank you for sharing that information with the audience. Yeah, and the number is 240-777-3000, and it's called the Aging and Disability Resource Unit. We have a team of 8 full-time program specialists with a supervisor, and they are truly the experts at connecting anyone who calls to the services that are needed for the person or the family to do good. So this team have been fortunately working with us for many, many years. We have had very much stability in the staff. And so that is why it is so wonderful, because they really do know the community, the resources, both in the private sector, the nonprofit sector, of course, within our government system. They know the rules for eligibility, which, as you know, sometimes change twice a year. They are really on top of the game. We have 2 employees on that team who are bilingual, Spanish, English. However, everybody on the team is able to reach any languages. As you know, in Montgomery County, we are so fortunate to have residents who come from all over the world to be with us. In the schools, over 170 languages are spoken. And so our staff can access through the telephone different languages, because we have a language line. And so the program is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they are open until 7:30 p.m. So people can definitely get on the phone, talk to a live person, 240-777-3000. Thank you so much, Steve.
Great. So let me ask you this. I mean, we all move on in our lives and we have programs and agendas, but something like, the COVID pandemic really spotlights, I think, and highlights the deficiencies, the things that we didn't even think about. What are the things that really have come to the fore that we learned we need to do a better job at, or maybe you're already addressing them?
So thank you so much. So yeah, when we started in this pandemic close to a year ago, in terms of the mechanics of our programs, obviously a lot of what we do in aging and disability services is in people's homes. We go to someone's home, or we go to somebody who resides in an assisted living facility, or we go to a senior center. So once the face-to-face activities were no longer safe and we had to stop doing that, for many of our programs, that was a huge challenge, because we as county employees at that point in time, we didn't have the right equipment. We didn't have cell phones and laptops, etc., to be able to work from home. So it took us a few weeks to get that done. But fortunately now, we are very well equipped and we can work remotely. Obviously, way back when, you may recall, you couldn't find a mask, you couldn't find this famous PPE, personal protective equipment. And so we were in the same boat. We didn't have any of that. So we had to struggle and just like everyone else, wait until the supplies were able to come our way. So having said that, we have some programs that are mandated and we need to continue regardless of pandemic to provide these services. And one of our programs is the Adult Protective Services. We call it APS in short. And this is when someone in the community reports to us their concern, their serious concern about a person with disability or an older adult who is at risk of abuse, neglect, self-neglect, exploitation. And so we receive the call, and our staff, of course, investigate the situation, goes into the homes. Despite the pandemic, we are continuing to do our face-to-face work. Clearly, people use their equipment and respect the social distance, etc. So another situation that we have seen is that, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, our clients were very resistant to welcome us into their homes because obviously they were so afraid of the virus. So again, fortunately, a couple of months later, especially now that we have the testing that is available regularly for folks, as well as the PPE and the mask, people now are welcoming us back into their homes to provide services. Another challenge has been with our long-term care facilities. We have one wonderful program that is funded by the federal government with supplemental funding from the state and the county that is called the Long-Term Care Investment Program. That program is operated by a small team of county staff and a wonderful larger team of trained and certified volunteers. Our team of county staff is about 8 persons, and our volunteers who are absolutely awesome. Right now we have about 25 of them. And their job is to assist residents and families problem solve with whatever is of concern in their day-to-day lives in a nursing home or in an assisted living facility. And so before COVID, obviously our staff and our volunteers were going into each of the facilities on a daily basis, multiple facilities on a daily basis. Just to put a reminder, we have 34 nursing homes and 200 some assisted living facilities in the county. And we have a large geographical area. So the staff and volunteers were driving up and down and visiting all of the sites on a daily basis. Of course, this stopped altogether in March last year. And recently I saw the statistics, and that was really heartbreaking to see that this year, due to the pandemic, we have conducted half of the visits that we did last year for good reason. And it has been very challenging to do the work remotely because obviously when we call or do a Zoom call with a resident in a facility, we have to depend upon the staff person to do the connectivity. And as you well know, the staff members are super busy. Many of them themselves were sick. And the staffing was a huge challenge in the facility. So conducting the work of the long-term care ombudsman remotely has been extremely challenging. In the fall, the governor allowed outdoors visits, pre-arranged, pre-scheduled, weather permitting. So these clearly have occurred, but again, it is a challenge to do this outdoors. And clearly right now with the cold weather and the snow and all of that, that is not happening. However, good news, this very day, this morning, the first email I opened was from the governor's office indicating that they would allow inside the facilities visit effective March the 1st, assuming, of course, that there is no COVID positive test in the facilities and that the nursing homes continue to have their supplies of PPE and that they continue to do all of the communicable disease precautions for the residents and the staff. So
Gotcha.
things are looking forward with the vaccine in place. As you know, residents, staff have been a priority in our state and in many, many states. So once the vaccine kicks in, there is a light at the end of the tunnel with us being able to go back in the facilities. And of course, for the family members who have been not able, that is going to be such a relief to be able to finally go see your loved one in the facility, give them a hug finally, and reconnect, because the social isolation has gone both ways for the residents as well as the family members.
So one of the things that the county is big on is sort of age-friendly and dementia-friendly programs. How does your departments sort of intertwine with those county initiatives to create awareness for dealing with folks with dementia, spotting it, trying to educate people that you can't argue or fight with someone with dementia? And that's one of the largest things that we see in home care, that a husband of 40 years is yelling at his wife because she thinks something is red when it's blue. And it really doesn't matter what color it is, but it's just the way it is. It's that feeling of trying to convince people that they're wrong so they acknowledge they have dementia, which just can't happen. So are there any special programs or tips that you can share that might involve dementia training and awareness?
Absolutely, Steve, you're absolutely right on. So we have two initiatives. One is called EdgeFriendly Montgomery County, and the other one is called Dementia Friendly. So let me start first with the Dementia Friendly. This is an international movement that started in Great Britain and then came over to the United States. And the goal of this program is exactly what you're talking about, to assist families and persons living with dementia to adjust as best as possible and enjoy a safe and healthy life with support, obviously. And so the Dementia Friendly Initiative in Montgomery County started in 2015. And we were the second county in the state of Maryland. Prince George's County was the first, and we were the second. And we partnered with all of the departments in the county government. And one very, very important partner is the police department. They do have a special program when a person wanders off and is lost in the community and the family is not able to find them. This program is called Safe Return. It has no cost. The family can access this at no cost whatsoever. And if the person who has dementia receives a special bracelet that can be activated remotely. And so when the person wanders off and is lost and the police department is notified, the police department can activate that and find the person. I was on a call 2 days ago with the officer who is in charge of this program, Officer Laurie Reyes. She's just a fabulous lady. And she says that on a weekly basis, between 5 and 8 persons get to wander off a week from their family, and the police department is contacted. So we urge anyone to enroll in this program because it's, again, better be safe than sorry, better be prepared and have this service, which again is available at no cost. And also the police officer who is responsible for this program establishes a relationship with the family and the person with dementia, so that we try to prevent this type of problems to occur. But when they do occur, we have a system in place to rectify the situation. So as part of a dementia-friendly initiative, we also have a series of training for family members. Some of us training are online nowadays, of course. We have a caregiver support, and we also have training to businesses because, as you know, persons who live with dementia go to a dentist, they go to a hairdresser, go to a restaurant, etc. And so we have training for those businesses in order to help them interact, communicate successfully with persons with dementia. Exactly as you say, there is no point in arguing about X, Y, and Z, and it's better to drop the conversation, distract the person, move on to something else. And so, again, we partner very much with the Alzheimer's Association. We have support groups for family members. We have special programs for people who have been recently diagnosed with dementia to help them understand the disease, adjust to what is going to change in their life. So that is a part of dementia friendly. And again, we have a lot of information on the website. We can connect anyone who is interested. Just call us again at 240-777-3000, and we'll do that warm connection with the person in need. The EdgeFriendly Montgomery initiative started also in 2015, and it is again an international movement that was started by the WHO, the World Health Organization, to assist countries to plan for their current and future population of older adults. Everyone is very much aware of the growth of the older population. In our county right now, as you know, we have about a little over 1 million persons who reside in our county. Currently, 16% of our populations are over the age of 60. Every year, over 9,000 residents in our county turn 65 and are eligible for Medicare. So we clearly are in need to prepare for the continued growth of residents who are over the age of 60. So this initiative from WHO here in our nation is organized under the umbrella of AARP. And so for a community to belong to the EdgeFriendly initiative, you have to go through a strict application process, provide documentation, conduct a needs assessment, and organize with multiple partners. So here in the county, we have a large advisory group for the EdgeFriendly Montgomery. All of the departments of the county government, like fire and rescue, police, library, recreation, et cetera, along with key partners in the community, be them nonprofit or for-profit. We meet every quarter to focus on where we are, where we want to go, and how we're going to get there. We are organized by 10 work groups who are extremely active: employment, safety, communication, health and wellness, community-based services, et cetera, volunteerism, et cetera. And so we focus on all of these topics And again, we develop a plan, we report about the progress we make, and move forward in developing additional plans. So one example has to do with financial exploitation, as we mentioned before. So we have a group focusing on that issue. Regretfully, financial exploitation of older adults is growing at a rapid pace. Right now, 36% of the cases that are reported to us in adult protective services focus on financial exploitation. So we partner with the state attorney's office, with the police department, with APS, with the medical profession to engage as many persons as possible to identify what we call the red flags of abuse and report to APS. The state attorney's office has been very successful in prosecuting criminals who have done these horrible crimes against older persons. So that has been something that has been very much at the forefront of our EdgeFriendly Montgomery initiative. Another one has to do with what you talked about, with many older adults from the older generation do not have access to computers, or if they do not feel very comfortable in using them. So we have had a huge partnership with a program called OATS, OATS, Older Adults Technical Services, and they have developed this fabulous program called Senior Planet that teaches older adults how to use your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet, etc. And so clearly back in the days, all of these classes were face-to-face. You know, we had small group of older adults who attended a class in person. We had classes in Spanish and in English. And now all of this has moved online. And they are now even doing more business than before, because clearly now when you are in a Zoom situation, you can have thousands of people. You are not limited to how many chairs you have in a meeting room. So their business is really booming. They are very successful. All of those classes are free. And we clearly encourage anyone to take advantage of that. They have classes also in multiple languages, which is fabulous. Also during the summer months, we were able to engage a group of young folks. They were called the COVID Corps, and they worked from July through October. And those were young people who were trained and vetted by the county government. And we would match one-on-one an older person who needed hands-on help with a younger person who could provide that guidance. And they were doing that on the telephone. So, you know, most of the adults do have a telephone. And so that was really very successful. Regretfully, the funding stopped at the end of October, but we are all looking forward to applying for grant funds and restarting this program. That was just a win-win. I know the school system are very interested in this and would like to see how we could do this together. And the public school would actually give credit to the students. You know, the middle schoolers or the high schoolers would gain credit for doing this kind of one-on-one teaching with older adults who need the hands-on help. So those are some of the examples. We have lots of information on our website. And another program I want to point out is something we called Engage at Home. When the pandemic, you know, shocked all of us a year ago, we had one of our wonderful staff members who is in charge of a caregiver program who put together all of these YouTube videos. So that is not too difficult to access. You just need to go on YouTube, and all of the videos that are placed there are all vetted. You know, they're all safe. The information you can trust, and there is information for caregivers. There is exercises. health, nutrition, and there is just incredible wealth of resources. And again, this is done in partnership with the libraries, with the recreation department, and it has been so successful. We have tens of thousands of people logging on every single day to get information and also get entertained via this program that's called Engage at Home.
In fact, I will put it in a plug for myself. I was a participant in one of the videos that we did on home care and how to hire home care assistants, whether they be through an agency, a registry, or private. And the other thing is I'm on the task force for the home and community-based services. And one of the things I think we're really proud of from last year is the brochure we put out to educate people on how to hire someone to come into their home and explain the differences between hiring a private caregiver or using a registry or using an agency. And it's very easy to read, very easy to use. And I think it just shows the work of the age-friendly task forces that they really are responding to the needs of the community, both in Engage at Home and in the task forces, all of them individually.
Absolutely. And again, thank you, Steve, for joining the task force. I mean, that is a perfect example of how, working together, partnering between the public and the private sector and listening to the concerns of the residents, we can move forward and provide services and resources that are right on and helpful to families. And by the way, that guide that you are referring to is available, of course, in print, but also online and also in 9 different languages. So, thank you for your work on that.
Well, it was really hard for me to translate it into all those other languages.
Yes, yeah, it took us close to a year. It was quite a job. Some of the resource I want to point out is a resource that comes from the state Department of Aging, the Maryland Department of Aging. They have this wonderful resource, again, no cost, that is called Senior Call Check. And so people can register at no cost. You have to be a Maryland resident, 6 years old and over. And once you register, they will provide you with a daily phone call. The phone call is made by a computerized call center. So the call center will call the older adult, check on them, and if after 3 calls the older adult does not answer the phone, then the system is going to call a backup person that has been designated ahead of time by the older adult. And this has proven extremely valuable, especially for older adults who live by themselves. In our county, we have 34% of our older adults who live by themselves. And so it is very reassuring to the older adult as well as to their family members that every day, even on the weekend, a call will be made. And if there is no answer, then a backup person will be contacted. Again, this is provided at no cost, and the number is 1-866-50-CHECK. 1-866-50-CHECK for check, senior call check. So we urge anyone to enroll in this program. And also the program can do disseminating information via that telephone system. So for example, when there is a snowstorm that is being predicted, the system can call and say, hello, everybody, we are expecting, 4 inches of snow in 2 days. Make sure you got your medication and milk in the fridge, etc. So that has been very helpful. Now, on the horizon, another initiative from the Department of Aging is related to durable medical equipment. As you know, many times in life, we need to access a walker or crutches or wheelchair. And so the Department of Aging is putting together this gigantic project of a durable medical equipment loan closet. and they have started to receive donations in a centralized location in Prince George's County. The equipment that is donated is being sanitized and repaired. And the goal is in a few months to be able to have satellite locations throughout the state of Maryland where the items are going to be transported for people who want and need to borrow them. And so in Montgomery County, we are working right now with two sites. One is one of the churches in Silver Spring, and the other one is the Rockville Senior Center. So those two facilities right now are interested in becoming satellite sites whereby people could come and pick up items that they would need. So this is really exciting, and it should come pretty soon.
Terrific. Well, I'm mindful of your time, and we may have time for a question or two before we have to sign off. Any questions that we didn't answer? Okay, well, I'll assume that we...
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Brunetto. How are you? It's Claudia from Home for Life.
Oh my goodness, Claudia, that's wonderful. Thank you for being on the line. I haven't seen you for a long time. It's so good to hear your voice.
I know we're doing okay. So from an Home for Life perspective, thank you for all you do, by the way, for the villages. I appreciate that. I'm sure you never mentioned that a while ago, but she also works as well, a lot of work she does with the villages. So from the village perspective, I'm getting a lot of calls and emails from my seniors. They're desperately trying to see how they can get assistance to register for the vaccine. Is there any program that we can collaborate on to assist them?
Thank you so much, Dr. Warren. Thank you for this call. Yeah, we get clearly a lot of older adults are very concerned about that. So obviously the confusion is there are 8 different ways people can try to register for the vaccine. We have the pharmacies, we have the mass vaccination sites organized by the state, we have the hospitals, and then we have the local health department. So for the local health department, we have a website where people can register. And if people do not have access to the website, that is perfectly fine. There is a telephone line just for pre-registration assistance. So anyone who needs help with pre-registering for the county public health, please call 240-777-2982. 240-777-2982. This is the phone line for everyone who needs help pre-registering for the county public health vaccination. Right now, public health receives about 30% of the available vaccines in the state of Maryland. So 70% of the vaccine are given by the state to pharmacies, hospitals, and those mass vaccination sites. And again, the local public health will receive 30% of the doses. So again, encourage anyone, 240-777-2982. Now, for the online registration, people don't have to do it themselves. A family member, a friend, a neighbor, anyone can assist someone who has difficulty doing it themselves online. And the online registration also asks, do you need assistance with transportation? Do you need assistance with ambulation? So please make sure that when people pre-register, they are informing us about what is needed to make sure that they can successfully obtain the vaccine.
All right, well, thank you. Again, I'm mindful of everyone's time. Odile, we could probably spend a day with you.
That's great. I love it.
So many things to talk about, because when I think about that, I didn't even get to ask you about respite programs in the villages or food insecurity or transportation challenges. So maybe we'll have time to get on your calendar again in the future. So I do want to thank you for coming today. It was fabulous. Again, this was Odile Brunetto, the Chief of Aging and Disability Services. And my name is Steve Lorberbaum. I'm the owner of Assisting Hands Home Care. And I thank you all for joining today.
You're welcome. Thanks. Until next time.
All right. Goodbye, all.
Bye-bye. Thanks everyone for joining. Bye-bye. Be safe.
Thank you.
Be safe.